I'm not concerned about anything with
you
the
may have
Russian
indictments coming
investigation
down.
because it's a hoax.
Are you-
That's enough. Put down the mic.
Mr. President, are you worried about indictments coming down in this investigation?
Mr. President.
I'll tell you what, CNN should be ashamed of itself having you working for them. You are a rude, terrible person. You shouldn't be working for CNN. Go ahead.
I think that's unfair.
You're a very rude person. The way you treat Sarah Huckabee is horrible. And the way you treat other people are horrible. You shouldn't treet people that way. Go ahead. Go ahead, Peter. Go ahead.
In Jim's defense, I've traveled with him and watched him. He's a diligent reporter who busts his
Well, I'm
butt
not a
like
big
the rest
fan
of
of
us.
yours either.
Let me ask you a question, if I can. You repeatedly said...
You aren't the best.
Mr. President, you repeatedly, over the course of
Okay,
the...
just sit down, please. Well, when you report fake news, when you report fake news, which CNN does a lot, you are the enemy of the people. Go ahead.
Did you see that? Did you?
How much time? 30? 30 seconds. I'm on right now. I don't believe you. What?
Do you know these tits, Errol?
I know a lot of tits, Governor, but I don't know any quite as stupid as these two.
How are you all brewing out there this Wet Your Whistle Wednesday, people? Welcome to the stream. This is the Brews at 10. You're watching My Left Eye. I'm your humble host, Lefty. A very warm welcome to everybody. Good to see some familiar faces in the chat already. We've got Davinia, Doc, Mo, nice to see you, Flow Snake, Graham, Wake Up and Smell the Rosemaries, nice to see you too, Mucker. What a crowd already. Great stuff. Heady's with us, Darren Smith. Solidarity to you both, nice to see you. Solidarity. First stream of the week. Yeah, it's been a busy one. We've managed to squeeze out a little video earlier on in the week. Please do check that out. And of course, this eve, PMQ's returns, and with it Keith's Catchphrases in its full version glory. Yeah, so that will be the main feature this evening. Emma Richardson, nice to see you as well. I can see in the chat one or two of you hoping for a Farage-free stream. I wouldn't get your hopes up. Even though it's the first time watching PMQs for myself, we are going to be talking about a few other things, including the Southampton riots, off of the back of this court ruling and incitement from Farage. We'll be going into that with an episode of Placard Power, actually. Yeah, it's been a while since we did a proper episode. It's a popular quality feature. More popular and quality features and items to come on stream. So of course, with Farage being the instigator of those unpleasant scenes, very unpleasant scenes in Southampton, he will be featuring on the stream, unfortunately. But only because we're going to be throwing shade at him, we're going to be criticising him to the nth degree. Because I hold him directly responsible for what happened. I'll go into that more when we get onto the topic, but it's been quite an eventful week already. And while I obviously do not know the full details of PMQs, as I said, it will be a first time watch for me. Having noticed certain news thumbnails, I do believe that he and Starmer got into crosswords, possibly. He was in the thumbnail, actually, so yes, as you confirmed there, Flow Snake, he did actually turn up for work for once. The usually absent Member of Parliament, alleged Member of Parliament for Southend, not Southend-on-Sea, Clacton-on-Sea. Goodness, I was getting Southampton and Southport mixed up earlier. It's easy to be done, you know, there were riots in both places, respectively. But it's Southampton this time, which is some distance from Southport, which is in, well, Merseyside, really. Southampton way down in Hampshire, of course, on the south coast. Sorry, my window's just blown open a little bit. It's getting quite blustery out there. Just noticed that, yeah. Dark clouds are looming over the My Left Eye studio, as I can see as I peer outside. Okay then, you're updated on the weather. That's as close as we get to weather updates on the Brews at 10. It's 8 minutes past 10 here on My Left Eye. The weather outside is it's dark. What do you mean that doesn't count as weather? It does. Anything else coming up? Of course. A few bits and pieces concerning Palestine. I've got a few plugs to do as well, and we'll be having some comedy interludes along the way. But of course, this channel wouldn't be what it is, or where it is as well, without our fantastic members. So this is the latest membership roster. Thank you very much, everybody. 129 now, as we try and get back towards the 200 and then the 250 mark. You can press various buttons to support the stream. Thumbs up, of course. The hype button if you're watching back. Sorry, that is if you're watching at any time. On a mobile device, if you're watching via a mobile device, please hit the thumbs up button. And then YouTube will say, hey, well, if you like this, do you want to give it some hype points? And you say, well, yes. I definitely would. And that will go a long way to helping out the channel. Thank you very much. There's also super chats, super stickers, Super thanks if you watch back later on. And the Buy Me a Coffee page is there as always in the description of any content on the channel. Thank you very much. Members and supporters. The magnificent mighty Brew Crew. You can join that list of people as well for just 99 pence, and there are lots of perks to enjoy. Hit the join button, find out more. I'm certain that the members currently watching live in the chat would highly recommend that you do. They know about the quality that we have. There's exclusive stuff as well. Early viewings, check out the perks. Thank you very much.
Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
Davinia's hinting at a gifted membership there in the chat. Why don't you give it a go? Give it a go. You never know. I do have a few snipers out there, viewers who are very kind and regularly donate gifted memberships for a start, but also have a particular knack of catching the people who are watching live as they do so. So if you fancy yourself as a bit of an eagle-eyed sniper, marks person, then yeah, gifted memberships also go a long way to helping grow our little community that we have here. Let's get straight into things then.
No photos. Good afternoon, Poors. To those who don't know me, I am Mr. Carney's new Chief of Staff. My name is Veronica, but you can refer to me as, you don't speak to me, I speak to you. I'm here to...
Sorry, I didn't realise the mic wasn't on there. I was trying to give you a shout out there for the gifted memberships. Thank you very much. Yeah, Divinia unfortunately didn't receive one, but nice roll of the dice anyway. Solidari-Tea to Darren Smith, and also Morbius just came in with another one. Thank you very much, Mo. Hope the recipients all enjoy your perks. Do let us know if you're watching live, and make sure that you big up Mo and Darren in the chat, please, people. That'd be awesome. Excellent stuff. So let's update that now. 135. Awesome. Yeah, sorry about the mic cutout there. Where are we? Membership total. There we go. Go and subscribe to Claire Blackwood as well. Excellent stuff. There's a link in the description as well for the channel.
to officially officially address the Prime Minister's environmental policies, as some of you public school graduates seem confused as to where the Liberal Party of Canada stands on trees and wind and climate. And rest assured, Mr. Carney wanted to be here today to tell you all this himself. I'm joking. He did not. He's in Saudi Arabia selling off Canada's whales to the highest bidder. Now, obviously the criticism on everyone's minds is the new pipeline we have promised to Danielle Smith's Conservative Party. To that, we say, you're not smart enough to get it, sweeties. All you activists are yelling about oil and fossil fuels and the Paris Agreement, when what you should be yelling about is how much money we are going to make from Mark's private investors. And Canada. So, here's what you need to know about where the Liberal Party stands on the environment. Oil, good. Pipelines, good. Pesticide regulations, bad. Endangered species, I guess. Our children's future, they'll figure it out. Defense, blank fucking check. What you don't understand is how much money we are going to make. If we sell off our ports and water and gas, we will make so much money.
This is ringing true a lot for those of us in the UK as well. I don't know if this all seems very familiar to you. It does to me if you just replace Carney with Starmer, and they almost sound the same in a certain way, don't they, people? Yeah, you pretty much get the same impression. Bottomless pit for, air quotes, defence, but lagging way, way behind when it comes to replacing fossil fuels with renewable energy.
If you want whales so badly, we can just use that money to buy more whales. We won't, but we could. So calm down, babes. You voted for this. Oh.
The last time I was in a pet shop, I'm pretty sure I didn't notice the whale section.
1 second.
It'd be pretty big.
Hello, Mark. Yes, Mr. Trump is willing to renegotiate taking over if you add $5 billion to the defense fund. Yes, I know, pocket change, sir. Very good. Mackenzie King would be envious. Goodbye. He likes it when I talk to him in a British accent. He says it makes him feel more at home. Anyway, I'm not paid enough to be here longer than this, and you all smell like you don't know what a $500,000 salary feels like. Oh, I need to go. He's negotiating a trade deal that would privatize Pearson Airport for the low price of a few birds going extinct. Why are you all still here? Don't you have restaurant jobs to go to? Bye. Hi, Internet.
Claire Blackwood, go and subscribe. Great stuff from Claire there. Yes, Canada does have whales, of course, as it ventures into the Arctic. And they, of course, often famously get trapped between floating ice sheets and such. But at the risk of turning into David Attenborough on stream, we'll stick with the politics for now. And Doc, yes, just as a reminder for anybody who was getting confused, the country of Wales, no H, is geographically very, very far from the country of Canada. 5,000 miles-ish. Well, it depends which bit, because it stretches out quite a lot at the top. Again, at the risk of getting sidetracked, we'll move on, and I'll just remind you to go and subscribe to Claire Blackwood once more. Credit where it's due. Okay, we're all set, people. Let's get into Keith's catchphrases. Yeah, it's been a couple of weeks now. A week off last week. The summer holidays are coming up pretty soon. So we'll take the opportunity while we can. Graham, thank you very much for the super chat. Don't worry at all if you don't have the technical capability of gifting memberships, but that super chat contribution is massively appreciated, I assure you. Let's give that a thumbs up. And everybody else, if you'd please big up Graham in the chat for your continued contributions and support. Do appreciate that, as well as all your great comments in chat and on content. Thanks again, brother. We're getting it, yeah. Easternmost Canada is closer to Wales than to its... Yeah, it's that is a bizarre thought. But let's not get sidetracked, as I said. Lots to cram in. Right. What are we doing? I'm a bit rusty. It's been a couple of weeks. We'll do the introduction, of course. Keith? Keith? There he is. There he is. Yes, Keith's catchphrases. It's quality, isn't it, Graham?
It's a quality item, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, people, it's Keith's catchphrases. We use this as a bit of fun. Also adds a bit of life to PMQs, which can often be very repetitive and predictable, hence the game. But also to stop things getting stale as we go through. What's this all about? Well, very simply, for anybody who doesn't know, we pit two words or phrases against one another. Keep accounts, it's 1 versus 1. There is a league for the 10 contenders in total, which has actually been decided now. It was a rip-roaring start for fairly new contender Security, who was crowned champion some time ago. Actually won't be featuring this evening because they've already played all of the other contenders. Last week's champion, sorry, not last week, from a fortnight ago, the champion was Deliver with a 2-0 victory over Plan. So let's see what the rules are all about. It's fairly simple, fairly straightforward. The words or phrases have to be spoken by Starmer, hence Keith's catchphrases. It's a winner stays on format, which is why Deliver, represented by Postman Twat, will be staying on again this time. I'll reveal the challenger in just a moment. But the third rule, slight variations are allowed. For example, past tenses, pluralisation of the word. I will be the judge of what gets through or not. And where the league is concerned, it's 3 points for a win, 1 for a draw, and absolutely bugger all for a loss. If there are any questions about the rules or anything, do let me know in the chat. A very quick look at the league then. As I said, it is all over as far as the race for the title is concerned. You can see there Security garnering 24 points and 27 mentions from their 9 games, which means that Postman Swat and Deliver in second would not be able to catch them, but they will be defending this evening, currently on 19 points. Budget's in third, Change in fourth, Clear in fifth, and down at the bottom we have Plan in sixth, Deal in seventh. Tonight's challenger, Fix. Let's give him another go. in 8th, and Blackhole in 9th. Inheritance is currently bottom of the table with 0 points, although there's only Plan in the bottom half that's got any points at all. Sorry, I've just noticed an error on the league, which I'll have to fix. Yeah, Fix has only played one previous game. I've got a table here, actually. I've got a chart. But quality, don't worry. We've got notes. We know what we're doing. No, sorry. Yeah, Fix has played 3 games. Just need to update mentions and other bits. But they haven't won any, so the points are still accurate. Okay, that's it. And generally, we just use the game to take the piss out of Keith as much as we can.
Oh no.
And there's also keep your ears out, or, well, you can't because it's a hidden feature. I'll be keeping my ears out for the hidden feature word or phrase, which of course is hidden, so I'm not going to say what it is. But as far as the hidden feature word or phrase is concerned, that has to be spoken by anybody else apart from Keith, just as a sort of added little side feature. Right, that's just about it. Let's get into things. Ignore the 1-0. Why have we given Deliver a 1-0 start? It's because Deliver was used in a mini game, of course, during the break. And there was only one mention, wasn't there, during Kendall's catchphrases, which we had last time out. So if Lindsay Hoyle is ready, yep, he looks ready as ever. Take it away, you flannel-mouthed tits.
Before we come to Prime Minister's questions, I'd like to pay tribute to former colleague Lord Alan Hazelhurst, who died this week. Although we come from opposite sides of the Pennines and the Isle, Alan served this House initially as the MP for Old Lancashire seat of Middleton and Prestwich from 70 to 74, before he represented Saffron Walden from 77 to 2017. He was also my immediate predecessor as Deputy Speaker and Chairman of Ways and Means from 97 till 2010. He was a distinguished and respected parliamentarian, serving on numerous committees during his time in the House, as well as playing a leading role with the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association. Friends will know Alan was mad about cricket. Along my father Doug, they were prominent and long-serving officers of the All-Party Parliamentary Group on cricket. And I know Alan took his passion to the next level with his many novels about the sport. In 2018, he was appointed...
Sorry, the only insert I've got that relates to crickets wouldn't be appropriate at this time during this obituary speech pre-PMQs for the former Deputy Speaker.
To the life peer, served in the House of Lords until he retired at the end of 24. I'm sure members across the House will like to join me in sending our condolences to Lord Hazelhurst's wife, Lady Angela, his children and grandchildren, family and friends, who are very much in our thoughts today. We now come to Prime Minister's questions. Dr. Ross Savage.
Question number 1, Mr. Speaker.
Question number 1.
Prime Minister.
Yeah, before they get going, Mo, that would be... that's a good idea, actually. But no, it isn't. The hidden word isn't hidden.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Can I also pay tribute to Lord Hazelhurst? I know he will be deeply missed, particularly on the benches opposite. Mr. Speaker, the findings of the recent Spring Hill inquest into the tragic deaths in July 1972 of Father Noel Fitzpatrick, Patrick Butler, Margaret Gargan, David McCafferty and John Dougal are sobering. While the circumstances in which the events occurred were undoubtedly challenging, it is the duty of the state to hold itself to the highest standard. The government accepts and deeply regrets.
Andy, nice to see you. Thanks for dropping by. Sorry, people, I'm not familiar with this case that Starmer chose to open with. Perhaps if it rings any bells for you. Sorry, but this one was before my time. When did he say it was? 74, 76 or something? And I've, not heard it mentioned recently in the press, so you'll forgive me if I don't make any comment about this particular story.
These findings and recognises their gravity. On behalf of the government, I want to apologise unreservedly to the families for what happened and for the grief and trauma that they have endured since the tragic deaths of their loved ones. Mr. Speaker, I also want to place on record our deepest condolences to the family of Lance Corporal James Freeman, who died in a tragic accident on Sunday.
Quite a sombre start already, isn't it? And of course, there was news today of the 3 service personnel from the RAF who were killed in a helicopter crash. I'm not sure if that happened before or after PMQs, whether it will be mentioned or not, but sombre opening here this week.
Mr. Speaker, I'm also aware of a Royal Navy helicopter crash this morning in Devon.
Sorry, Navy.
This will be a deeply worrying time for the families, and more information will be set out as soon as possible. Mr. Speaker, Henry Novak's family have shown extraordinary dignity after their son's life was...
Well, getting straight into it then, I guess. I was going to just do a very quick explanation for anybody outside of the UK who's not familiar with this case. It certainly is, something we've been hearing a lot of over the last 48 hours. Essentially, there was a court ruling yesterday. Was it yesterday? It was either yesterday or Monday, but Monday, I believe it was. A man was was found guilty, and then sentenced, having stabbed a young man, Henry Novak, who Starmer's referring to here. But when the incident occurred, essentially, the stupidest policeman in the world showed up in attendance on the scene, and when Novak informed him that he'd just been stabbed by the other gentleman, he didn't believe him. He actually handcuffed him because the perpetrator of the stabbing had falsely accused Novak of racially aggravated assault or racially motivated behaviour, whatever that was. The whole thing since then has been, well, it's escalated, shall we say, whilst the family of the victim, who was very young, by the way, has, whilst the family asked that his death not be politicised and that there be no division within communities, Nigel Farage ignored that, immediately took to the airwaves and essentially, along with Yaxley Lennon, aka Tommy Ten Names, incited massive riots in Southampton. We'll go into that a bit more later on with placard power, but that's basically the background. It's caused a whole furore for a lot of reasons, obviously, and now you've got a lot of people from the far right coming out and trying to say that there's too much anti-racism in society and that it was anti-racism that caused the death of Novak, which is, of course, a ridiculous claim to make. We'll see what happens as we go through PMQs. I do believe, even though I don't know what's going to be said in the exchange, that, as I said, Nigel Farage is probably going to make an appearance.
Stolen in appalling circumstances. He was clearly a kind and thoughtful and much-loved young man. There are serious questions to answer, including how accusations of racism informed police thinking, and we're supporting the IOPC to get to the bottom of what happened. But no matter the pain we feel, there is no justification for more violence and disorder. The attacks directed towards police officers in Southampton last night were disgraceful and completely unacceptable. This is a time for serious work, not rage. And let me be clear, we will ensure anyone found engaging in disorder meets the full force of the law, as we have done before. Mr. Speaker, this morning I had meetings with ministerial colleagues and others, in addition to my duties in this House. I shall have further such meetings later today.
Dr. Ross-Savage.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I would like to echo the sympathies expressed by the Prime Minister for those families recently bereaved, particularly the family of Henry Novak. Corruption appears to be endemic in donations to British political parties. We've had years of Conservative cronyism. We've had allegations of embezzlement in Scotland. We've had undisclosed donations from crypto billionaires and foreign oligarchs. We've even had freebies dished out to some of the honourable members sitting on the benches opposite. The government has already cracked down on some specific sources of donations that favour their political opponents, such as crypto and foreign money. Will the Prime Minister now commit to restoring the faith of the British public in the integrity of our British democracy by putting a cap on all political donations?
This guy, Keith, you're asking Keith? No, don't think so. He's worth £13 million. He's worth his salary is just over £100,000 a year. He's been the Prime Minister for 2 years. Director of Public Prosecution's salary isn't that exorbitant. Where do you think all of that £13 million came from? I think that's a little naive to expect the very people he was just referring to there to fall in line with that one, because even though your examples were aimed at the Tories, certainly anything that applied to the Tories now applies to the Tories in red rosettes.
Thank you for our question. We will do whatever is necessary to protect our democracy from foreign influence and from dirty money. And that's why we commissioned the Rycroft review. We capped overseas donations and introduced a moratorium on crypto donations. And we're taking further action as set out in the King's speech. But the £5 million pound question still remains. Why is the leader of Reform dodging questions about his donations? And why did he keep it secret in the first place?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm proud that after decades, it is this Labour government putting passengers before profit by bringing GTR, Southern, Gatwick Express into public ownership. The previous government shelved plans to unblock the bottleneck at East Croydon Station. This not only causes delays from Bedford to Brighton, but leaves constituents at Norway Junction Station in limbo. So will the Prime Minister look again at the Croydon Area Modelling Scheme, back my campaign to unblock the Croydon bottleneck? And
yes, Schrodinger's ideology. Yeah. Of course, in the original experiment, few people consider the fact that the cat itself is an observer.
does he agree with me that by bringing our railways back into public hands, it is this government that is getting us back on track?
Well, can I commend her campaign to address the Croydon bottleneck? The last government cancelled work to address this. We will carefully consider the case for upgrades, including step-free access at Norwood. I'm proud that her constituents are travelling on rail services that are now back in public ownership and benefiting from the first freeze in rail fares for 30 years. Labour government transforming our railways and building a fairer Britain.
Come to the Leader of the Opposition, Kemi Bennell.
Well, those were the set-up mini-party political broadcasts there. Let's see what Badenoch's got. She gets 6 questions. Sometimes she even mixes it up and doesn't just ask the same thing over and over again. Let's see what she's got this week.
Mr. Speaker, can I echo the Prime Minister's words on Lance Corporal James Freeman and also about the Royal Navy helicopter crash in Devon? I also
Square
want
Peg
to
and
share
JK,
my
nice to see you in chat.
to the family and friends of Henry Novak. The circumstances around Henry's wrongful arrest and tragic murder must be a wake-up call to the entire country and our institutions.
Is that the case that Starmer was referring to at the start? Yeah, sorry, I wasn't too familiar with that one. Is it the Spring Hill Massacre? 5 West Belfast residents were shot and killed by the British. 3 were teenagers, including a 13-year-old girl, and another was a Catholic priest waving a white flag. Goodness me. It's terrible. That's terrible. And their families have been waiting for justice since the 1970s. I think he said it was in the mid-70s, so that's going on 50 years, isn't it? Maybe a little bit longer. Thanks for the extra information on that. That's just obviously one of many examples of British atrocities during the occupation. I don't like to use the word troubles myself. I feel that's a propagandised watering down of the situation. Terms like civil war, occupation, in terms of sociological lexicon, way more accurate than anything that you'd hear from the government. That certainly is an affront to justice. It really is. 50 years. 50 years. Doesn't it make you feel proud? Should we go out and wave flags? Let's go out and wave flags. Rule Britannia.
Every life matters, and it is the responsibility of everyone in this House to bring people together, not divide them. Mr. Speaker, with your permission, I would also like to take this opportunity to pay tribute to Sir Alan Hazelhurst, Lord Hazelhurst, who died on Monday. Sir Alan served Parliament for over 50 years, 8 of them in the Lords, 40 years as my predecessor as MP for Saffron Walden. And from 1970 to 1974, he was also the Member of Parliament for Middleton and Prestwich. He was respected on all sides of this House, elected multiple times as your predecessor, Deputy Speaker, before he concluded in the other place. Apart from serving his constituents, his greatest passion in Parliament, and perhaps in life, was, as you said, cricket. He was chairman of the All-Party Parliamentary Group for Cricket, a role which he encouraged me to take up and which I graciously declined.
No,
telling him I
not
knew
that one, Phil.
absolutely nothing about cricket. But I think colleagues should know that the reason
That's
Sky
the only
Sports
cricket
can be
insert I
found
can give
on
you,
the
Kenny.
Parliamentary TV network is because of Sir Alan's intense lobbying. There is so much to say, but I think just letting everyone know that he was a good and kind man, and he will be very much missed. My thoughts are with his wife Angela and his children Mark, David and Emma, and his grandchildren. So, Mr. Speaker, can I ask the Prime Minister, by how much has the welfare bill risen since he came to office?
Mr. Speaker, can I just first thank her for her approach and her tone in relation to the Henry Novak tragic case. In relation to welfare, Mr. Speaker, as she knows, we inherited a broken system from the party opposite, and we are now...
I've already noted, obviously, an inheritance there. We've already had at least one change, but still nothing from Postman Twat and Deliver, or Knob the Builder and Fix.
We are now improving that system. We are now improving that system, delivering a youth guarantee, rolling out 300,000 work experience placements, and commissioned Alan Milburn's review into youth unemployment. They're the steps that we were taken. As she will know, the number on welfare went up hugely on their watch, as did the cost under the Shadow Chancellor.
1-0.
Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister doesn't seem to know the answer, so let me tell him. Benefits alone have risen by £20 billion since he came to office. The Prime Minister has promised welfare reforms, we heard him say it just now, so can he tell the House why was there no bill in the King's speech to reform welfare?
Well, Mr. Speaker, welfare reform is balancing universal credit so it no longer pushes...
Why don't you ask how much CEOs' salaries have gone up? Why don't you ask about tax evasion, why don't you ask about the real problems within our society, the real cause of the financial inequality, the wealth gap, the real fundamental problems that we have? I wonder why, Kemi. I wonder why these things are so clearly absent from your mind, and you're fixating on, again, more cuts for the already needy, people in care, the disabled as well.
Just people away from work. That's what we're doing. They voted against it. Welfare reform is introducing a right to try to incentivise people to take up opportunities. That's what we're doing. They voted against it. Welfare reform is providing record funding on apprenticeships. That's what we're doing. Apprenticeship starts fell by 40% on their watch. And she talks about the welfare bill. It soared to £88 billion by £88 billion.
Yeah, most of the rise was pensions. Of course, we have an increasingly ageing population, ergo more people are going to be claiming state pension as a consequence of that statistic. It just really follows mathematically. Proportionately, pensions, of course, make up the vast majority of the entire welfare bill. And how many times do we need reminding that, of course, the amount from corporate tax evasion vastly supersedes that from false benefit claimants as well.
Pounds on their watch. Nearly 3 million people were written off. Face-to-face assessments collapsed because of the contracts they agreed. And the person who signed off those contracts was the Shadow Chancellor.
Dun, 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 dun.
We need to bring down the benefits bill. He complains about the Shadow Chancellor. The bill went up because of the pandemic. And even then, Mr. Speaker, even then, they were asking us to spend more. It's not the Shadow Chancellor who's the problem, it's the actual Chancellor. She's not even here in her place. It is the actual Chancellor. Mr. Speaker, the reason why there is no welfare bill is because the Prime Minister has given up.
Yeah, and of course universal credit doesn't rise with inflation, for example, as Davinian's pointing out in the chat there. That's leaving so many more people behind within society.
To the benefits bill, and 12 times he could not answer. So I will ask the Prime Minister, is he going to cut the benefits bill?
Mr. Speaker, all the measures we're doing to reform welfare, all the measures we're taking
so that's
to
at
get
least
young
the second
people
time
into
she's
work
asked
are
that now.
measures to reduce the cost and the
So she's already used a third of a quota.
numbers of people who are unemployed. And Mr. Speaker, that's why we've introduced the youth guarantee, so that young people can have help into work, that they can then, after 18 months, if they haven't got a job, be given a job for 6 months, supported, which we know is the best way to ensure that they succeed as we go forward. That is the change that we're making, Mr. Speaker. But they introduced the system that is broken. We're reforming it. Did they vote to reform it with us? No, they voted to keep the broken system.
Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister keeps saying he's bringing in welfare reforms. None of those things are going.
Unfortunately, in July of 2024, a lot of people voted for the same broken system with Keir Starmer in the Loveless landslide, didn't they? Big Jerry, nice to see you in the chat. Very warm welcome to you this eve. How do you brew?
To cut the bill. Even his own Tim's review explicitly says, this is their review, this is in the terms of reference, explicitly says this is not about generating proposals for further savings. He had a chance to cut benefits. Last year, I remember, they were planning to cut benefits, and on the floor of this House, they U-turned. What did he do when he had a chance? He caved. He caved to all these MPs behind him who don't want benefits brought down. That's why they're sitting silently behind him.
All right then, Kemi. Well, when you retire, we'll stick you in your wheelchair and just leave you in a hospital corridor unattended. How would you like? We'll just strip all benefits away from you or whatever. See how you like it. It's ridiculous how they just have a laser-like focus on the poor
So does the Prime Minister agree with his welfare secretary that that was the moment he lost his authority?
And is this how Kemi is going to try and fight back to the top, get the Tories back in office, 500 and odd seats down from the recent local elections, and now she thinks that standing on a soapbox and shouting, cuts, and attacking welfare is really going to ring through to the masses. And I really didn't like that, what appeared to be gotcha style grin on her face there, as though she thinks she's so effing clever, when she is in fact, I don't know, thick as two short planks.
Mr. Speaker, I'm proud of what we're delivering on this side of the House. The fastest growing economy in the G7. They said that couldn't be done.
That's two.
Despite the war in the Middle East, the OECD forecast UK growth is up and inflation is down. Net migration, Mr. Speaker, net migration, which reached nearly 1 million under them, and the Leader of the Opposition was the cheerleader, down by a staggering 82%. The asylum backlog down by 46%. We're delivering the fastest reduction in waiting times in the NHS in the history of the NHS.
Is he going to go on a
That's
roll?
on top of free school meals, free breakfast clubs and free childcare. And of course we're lifting 500,000 children out of poverty. I'm very proud of the work of this Labour government.
Mr. Speaker, he says he's proud of what they're delivering. I'm glad to see the Prime Minister still has a sense of humour, given we all know he's losing his job soon. He has no authority, and we know...
You're both losing. You're both awful. You're both terrible. The vultures and Grim Reaper surround both of you. Just wholesale losses. The old school parties are done. They're done.
Why? His MPs will not let him do anything. The Welfare Secretary said in private what they won't dare say in public. He said, every meeting I have with Labour MPs is about who can we tax in order to pay more benefits.
The rich.
Last week, Tony Blair said, if the Conservative Party repeats its offer of working together on welfare, Labour should accept. So
Fuck
today...
Okay, let's just sort of throw that into the package of trying to win over the British public. I don't know if you noticed, Kemi, but the response to what Tony Blair said was entirely viscerous. People really didn't take kindly to what Tony Blair had to say. So do what Blair says, and welfare cuts. That's the big clarion call of the Conservative Party to get back into office, is it? And you can caption that one, the freeze frame there. But keep it clean, people. Right, let's get on with it.
Get on with it. Yes, get on with it. Get on with it.
I am repeating that offer to the Prime Minister. Is he ready yet?
Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, they introduced a system that's broken and they put the bill through the roof, and now they want to give us advice on welfare. No thanks. No thanks.
And what do you do when something's broken, Keith? You need to blank it. You need to blank. He's right there. He's right there. Nob the Builder. Come on. Let's get a bit of a contest going on.
Thanks. The question should always be not what benefits people are entitled to, but what help we can give people to change their life. That's what the Work and Pension Secretary was arguing, and he's right about that. And it's a Labour government that's helping people into work. And she asked what we've done. She asked what we've...
Oh, well, right, okay. Oh, damn. Should have said a lottery win. Yeah, McFadden, there he is. Look, the life and soul of the party himself. From the Department of Work and Pensions, and also the Duchy of Lancaster. No, what we're going to do, we're going to tax more poor people and just ignore all of the corporate tax evasion. Sorry for raising my voice a little bit there.
Done. More rights for renters, stopping unfair rent strike. That's 11 million people given greater security and a place to call home. More rights for workers, Mr. Speaker, including bereavement leave on day one.
Is this why they're all going out on strike? Keith, is this why Sharon Graham from Unite is giving you ultimatums all of the time? Yeah, people like Eddie Dempsey, of course, from RMT, increasingly frustrated by you and your government. If they're so satisfied, then especially where the NHS is concerned as well, why is everybody on strike if they're drowning in Keith's cash?
Ask anyone who's lost someone and they'll tell you just how important it is to have bereavement leave and lifting 500,000 children out of poverty. We often say in this House that every child should go as far as their talent or ability will take them. It does not happen if they're growing up in poverty. And the party opposite have fought us every turn. I'm proud of what we're delivering. There's much more to do.
4-0 now.
Mr. Speaker, the truth is, unemployment has risen every single month since they came into office. You can listen to their cheers get weaker and thinner with every passing moment. The fact is, despite his huge majority, the Prime Minister doesn't have the votes to reform welfare. There is a solution, a Conservative solution. Benefits bill down. Mr. Speaker, they're all jeering now. I don't know why they're supporting him. He is more than happy to release all their text messages while all of his has disappeared. Disappearing messages from a disappearing PM. There is a Conservative solution. Benefits bill down.
She was probably up until about 3:30 this morning coming up with these excellent quips.
Taxes down, growth up. Everyone in this House knows that he is just a caretaker, keeping the seat warm.
I mean, she is right, but it's very low-hanging fruit, isn't it? It's a bit of a cheap shot.
For the Mayor of Manchester. But it doesn't matter who's in charge. Labour MPs will keep asking who can they tax to pay more benefits. It is in their DNA. Isn't it the truth, Mr. Speaker, that the problem isn't this passive Prime Minister? The problem is the Labour Party.
Forgive me if I don't take too much notice of the lead of the opposition.
Neoliberalism and capitalism as an overlying factor is the real problem, Kemi. Get with it.
For 14 years, they broke our welfare system, lost control of our borders, presided over the biggest fall in living standards on record, broke the economy, prisons, the NHS, I could go on and on. No wonder she and they are totally irrelevant. The change delivered by this Labour government, the biggest upgrade in workers' rights in a generation, delivered. Renters' Rights Act, delivered. Record funding for our NHS, delivered. The fastest growing economy in the G7, delivered. Lifting 500,000 children out of poverty, delivered.
I'm going to just leave him up there.
Harder for working people, a stronger and a fairer Britain.
8. Oh,
Mr.
what a run.
Speaker, 97 homes in Colsnaughton have been evacuated due to ground movement. That's hundreds of people enduring severe emotional and financial distress. This is absolutely life-changing. The MRA are now conducting an...
Well, unless there's an absolute fix-a-thon coming up in the second half of PMQs, it looks like a monstrous runaway win for Postman Swat and Deliver already.
8-week investigation into who will ultimately be held responsible.
Sensational.
In the meantime, my constituents are looking to the UK government for help. Will the Prime Minister commit to working with the Scottish Government and Clackmannanshire Council to ensure that affected residents receive whatever support they need for a speedy and fair resolution?
Can I thank my honourable friend? And I do know how difficult it is for residents who are not in their homes. And can I reassure him and them that the MRA are carrying out daily investigations?
Residents who are not in their homes is an oxymoron, Keith, but carry on.
To get answers as swiftly as possible. We're also working with the Council to provide support for residents. I can confirm the Energy Minister is in touch with MSPs and will ensure that both my honourable friend and his constituents are kept updated on the next steps.
Leader of the Liberal Democrats.
Who's that behind Keith wearing the game of Twister? Very good. Just skip back a couple of seconds. Not sure. Let's see. We might get a wider shot, but yeah. Does look like they've just wrapped the game of Twister around them. I'll try and think of some pun involving a right foot off the top of my head. It'll come to me.
For residents, I can confirm the Energy Minister is in touch with MSPs and will ensure that both my honourable friend and his constituents
right
are kept
foot blue.
updated on the next steps.
Leader of the Liberal Democrats.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And can I associate myself with your remarks about Lord Alan...
Stuntman Ed's turn. So Kemi Badenoch chose to not add much variety to her 6 attempts. Let's see what Liberal Democrats have got with skydiving, hang gliding, canoeing through a hoop of fire, etc. Davey.
Hazelhurst, and confirm to the Leader of the Opposition that he will be missed on all sides. Can I associate myself with the Prime Minister's remarks about Lance Corporal James Freeman, who was killed in Iraq? Our thoughts are with the family and the unit. And can I also offer our thoughts and prayers to the family and friends of the 17 people who tragically drowned during the recent heatwave, many of them children. Mr. Speaker, the murder of Henry Novak was an evil crime made much worse by the lies of the killer and the police response. The investigation must uncover all things that went wrong, and all police forces must act on its conclusions. Outside court, Henry's father made a powerful plea that his son's murder should not be used to create further division.
He did.
But should be used to treat knife crime as a national emergency. Does the Prime Minister agree that the victims of knife crime and their families deserve a politics where we come together to solve these problems and not use them as a political football?
Can I first join him in paying tribute to the 17 people who lost their lives in the heat wave, many of them, as he says, young, and each of them tragic, and send our condolences to their families. In relation to the case of Henry Novak, can I thank him for the approach that he has taken in this as well. It is important in a case like this, which is so tragic, and anybody who's seen the footage will have been deeply moved by it. It is important that we reflect.
There was body cam footage. I won't be playing that later on in the stream. I've got some other clips and stuff. Did see the full speech made by Mark Novak, who's Henry's father as well. That was very moving. But the overall thing in this, obviously, there's Farage / Yaxley Lennon's incitement. But preceding that, of course, the unbelievably poor actions from the officer in question, which will now be investigated.
On our own
just hear a bit more of this
as political leaders, and it is our duty to bring people together at a time like this, not seek to divide people. It is particularly our duty to listen to what the devastated family are asking of us as political leaders.
Yeah, because as somebody who was at some of the counter protests to the Southport riots a couple of years ago, I really don't want to see scenes like that again. Believe me, it's not something that you want to have to do. But it's people like the aforementioned Farage and Yaxley Lennon who are going to be responsible for that kind of thing, and they need holding to account as well. Farage certainly does for the video that he put out yesterday, which I'll be alluding to later, but it It's absolutely shameful how this has been politicised by the far right.
And can I thank all of those that have acted in that way, because I think that's the right way to respond.
Sir Ed Davey.
Can I thank the Prime Minister for his reply and completely agree with him and say that we stand ready to work with the government on serious policies to tackle knife crime. Mr. Speaker, with our armed forces overstretched, Labour now seems to be investing in a new weapon of war, the long-form essay. It gives another meaning to the phrase drone warfare, Mr.
Sorry, I missed that one. What's going on? What's going on here?
Meaning to the phrase drone warfare, Mr. Tony Blair says the UK should suck up to Donald Trump, kowtow to US tech barons, and go slow on Europe. The Prime Minister must be grateful for this rare endorsement of his agenda. Blair also claims that
Go slow on Europe, that's revolting.
that the sensible people aren't radical and the radical people aren't
entendres
sensible.
here.
Is the Prime Minister concerned that unless he changes course, he will be remembered for being neither radical nor sensible?
Well, he rather spoilt what was quite a good gag. Mr. Speaker, I have to. I'm surprised he hasn't done more to welcome the savings we're delivering for family fun days out this summer. I really thought that he would have been delighted at the cheaper
Sort
tickets
this
for
rabble out,
soft
man.
play.
Hoyle.
The country is united in its horror at the tragic death of Henry Novak.
We're on 9 now, aren't we? Yeah.
Would the Prime Minister once again join me in paying tribute to the courage of Henry's family in the face of this tragedy? And will he also join me in calling for the recognition of the serious...
See, when it gets like this, that camaraderie there, oh yeah, we're all great mates, aren't we? And then this is awful. We really care about this tragic event. So, and then they're all, and then the next minute, it's all shits and giggles. Like, it's just so disingenuous, isn't it?
mistakes made by the police, and that we must learn from those mistakes so that no family may face this tragedy again.
Well, can I thank him for raising this really important case? And my thoughts are with Henry's family. I'm sure the thoughts of the whole House and the whole country. I have watched the body cam footage, as others will have done. I found it really hard. It was harrowing. As a dad of a 17-year-old boy, I felt sick. I can only imagine how devastated his family are. It is extremely moving.
It's doing it now. Doing it
Henry's
again.
life has been stolen.
Are we laughing or
His
crying,
family have
Keith? Make your mind up.
responded with incredible and immense dignity and bravery. Now, there clearly are lessons, Mr. Speaker, that need to be learnt, serious questions that need to be addressed. Not least this question of our accusations of racism informed decision-making in such cases.
Well, one thing I certainly don't want to see happen, because I know that a lot of work has gone into campaigning against the existence of racism within the police, which there is, of course. For so many people's hard work to be done away by this one absolutely stupid police officer would be a complete injustice as well. And you can't turn around and say, oh, there's too much anti-racism in society. There's only one sort of person who would say that, and that's obviously a racist. The same sort of person who would say all lives matter. For example, if you want to draw comparisons, and not wanting to use a cliche, if you're going to let one bad apple spoil the whole barrel, I think that really is going to be an injustice. You can't overstate how bad that would be. because what are you going to do then? You're going to see even more racism, which is institutional within the Met, as well as xenophobia in general, of course, and sexism. So you're only going to see more cases of that, and you're only going to see more examples of stop searches. Of course, proportionately, black people in London are extraordinarily more likely to be stop searched by the police, as well as other way more heinous cases, such as the Sarah Everard case. Is that really where we want to go? I don't think so, and I certainly hope not. But the ball's in Keith's court here, I guess.
Henry's father said this: "We do not want his death to be used to create further division, hatred, or tension." They're the words of a grieving father who's lost his son. We do not want his death to be used to create further division, hatred, or tension. I think those words have resonated with people across the country. We must not allow this tragedy to be hijacked by anyone who seeks to divide us.
And, well, I wonder, who's going to enter stage right, of course.
Nigel Farage.
Oh, bang on cue. Well, what a surprise. Here he is.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Following the horrendous circumstances
You disgusting
of Henry
bastard.
Novak's death, can I urge the Prime Minister to consider this? It is now clear to growing millions in this country that we're living under two-tier policing.
Shut.
The instructions that are given to police officers...
Well, we won't hear any mention, if there is such a thing as two-tier policing, we won't hear any mention of pensioners and disabled people being labelled as terrorists for holding up placards coming from Farage, will we?
Officers from police bosses are clear and written down in ink. It says you must treat different ethnic groups in different ways. That, apart from the upset and the anger at the circumstances of his death, the anger that you saw spilling out in Southampton last night.
Because of you.
And which is in danger.
Condemn the violence.
Which is in danger of getting considerably worse.
Yeah, he's not. I mean, someone else was shouting over there, said condemn the violence, or asked, have you condemned the violence, whichever it was. And what, he's just going to stand there and, oh, well, I wonder how this has happened. What a piece of crap.
Because if the public lose trust,
Condemn it.
if the public lose trust in being treated fairly by the police, can he take some action, end this divisive practice of two-tier policing, and make sure that all British citizens are treated the same?
Mr. Speaker, I don't believe there's two-tier policing in this country. I'm really shocked that he pretends to have respect for Henry's family and then acts in this way. They are a grieving family.
Mr. Blash, please, it's a very important question. I want to hear the Prime Minister. If you want to carry on, go outside, please, Prime Minister.
Grieving family have asked us not to respond in the way that the Leader of Reform has responded. They've asked us not to. They have lost their son in the most appalling circumstance. They make a simple plea of us as human beings to please not exploit that. That is their plea to us. And we all need to reflect on those words of Henry's father.
It pains me to agree with Keith there, but that little gesture just skip back a little bit there from Farage, as if he was being contemplative and then, oh yeah, I get it, and oh.
My response, and the response of others, to be fair, has been focused on the lessons to be learned, so we can deliver justice. His response
That's 10.
Has been to appeal for rage. Rage. That's his response to a father who's lost his son, and ask for that not to happen. Exploiting this tragedy to create grievance and division would be wrong in any circumstances, but to do it when the family are expressly saying, please don't, is unforgivable. It shows exactly who he is.
What, on the next minute, are you going to be running across to the opposite side of the floor to sling your arm around him? When you haven't said one word to Jeremy Corbyn for what, probably 6.5 years. That was all an act. That was just a complete act there. Of course, he was correct in what he was saying, but that was all just an act.
Speaker, and I'd like to echo the comments that the Prime Minister just made.
Absolutely.
In August 2024, my constituent, Holly Woodcock, was found deceased in France, aged 20 years old. Her parents, Lee and Joanna, who are in the gallery today, still have no idea what happened at Holly's friend's holiday villa. They have raised significant concerns with the Foreign Office regarding the investigation, including the inconsistencies of witness statements and timelines, how samples were prematurely destroyed, and how matters raised by French lawyers were dismissed by the investigating French police officers and officials. I'm grateful that the Foreign Office Minister met with me and Mr Woodcock, but I share the family's concerns that our government should do more to press the French authorities to reopen the investigation. So will the Prime Minister commit to look at what can be done to raise this matter with his French counterparts at the highest level to help Mr and Mrs Woodcock get the answers that their daughter Holly deserves?
Can I thank him for raising this case and express my sincere condolences to Holly's family? I cannot begin to imagine the intense distress that they've experienced.
Again, that's a story
my
I
honourable friend will know
of.
the Ambassador to France has
If
raised
I'm being
Holly's
perfectly
case
frank.
with the French Prosecutor General, and I know the Minister of Europe has set out further steps that can be taken and is ready to support the family. But I will reflect in light of this question on whether there's anything more that can be done.
Liz Saville Roberts.
Diolch yn fawr iawn, Lefarydd. Last
Yakida.
month, Welsh voters elected a Plaid Cymru government with a clear message, fairness and hope. This means tackling years of neglect by securing funding owed from HS2, a new financial settlement that reflects our nation's needs, and more powers for Wales, especially powers over our natural resources. So would the Prime Minister be open to turning a conversation into real action to fulfil the democratic wishes of the people of Wales? Because now surely is a time for us to work together rather than facing the chaos that threatens us from every corner.
Can I thank her for a question? As she, I hope, knows, I did have a call with the First Minister of Wales just 2 weeks ago and made it clear that this government, will work constructively with the First Minister and with the government in Wales, because that's the right thing to do to deliver for Wales.
11.
Thank you very much, Mr Speaker. Can I ask the Prime Minister about our National Health Service and what better treatments can we offer people suffering from memory loss? A very distressing case was recently brought to my attention by a constituent in Waldham, in a village in my constituency, of a man who could not remember his own words, even though he said it on television, that the NHS should not be funded through general taxation. What can we do to ensure my constituents in Chatham and Aylesbury...
It was a joke, you see. It's not about one of his constituents. It's terribly funny this week.
...secure clarity on future Kent and Medway NHS funding, and what can we do to help the leader of Reform UK?
Well, my other friend makes a powerful point. The Reform leader wants everyone to forget that he called for our NHS to be replaced with an insurance-based system. You might want to jot it down to jog his memory. And then he said that if people can pay, they should pay for NHS treatment. So we can help him by jolting his memory here. You cannot trust reform with our NHS.
Still
the only
nothing
way to
from
protect it
Fix
is to vote
or
Labour.
the hidden feature.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This week, Tom Carriage and UK Hospitality launched their That's the Problem campaign. And yesterday, my neighbour from Herne Bay and I hosted industry bodies, chefs Matt Tebbett and Thomasina Myers, hospitality leaders from Manchester, Liverpool, London and Kent, including Andy Burnham's nighttime economy advisor Sasha Lord. All agree with campaigners such as Andy Lennox that the UK's rate of 20% of VAT in hospitality is killing businesses daily. Does the Prime Minister agree that that's the problem? And will he match his candidate in Makerfield's pledge to slash VAT in line with the rest of the EU?
Can I thank her for her question and recognise the challenges that she identifies? That is why we're permanently lowering business rates for retail, hospitality and leisure businesses. Every pub will get 15% off its new business rates bill, and bills will be frozen in real terms for a further 2 years. In relation to VAT, she'll see that we are supporting by cutting VAT on children's meals in restaurants, particularly over the summer period, with the savings that were set out 2 weeks ago by the Chancellor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Every year, around 160 university students commit suicide. That's more than 3 every week. Yet there is no established duty of care on universities to protect the health, safety and welfare of their students. This is not about creating excessive burdens on universities, but requiring them to take reasonable steps to prevent injury or harm to their students where the risk is reasonably foreseeable. So would the Prime Minister please meet with me to discuss this issue so that we can do all that we can to prevent our young people dying at university through suicide?
Take care, Flo.
Mr.
See you
Speaker, any
soon.
death from suicide
yeah,
is
stay
a
strong
tragedy,
too.
as everybody across this
Solidarity.
House will know. We're bringing together students, bereaved families, universities and the NHS to strengthen the mental health support provided to students, and we've appointed a student support champion to drive improvement across our universities, and the Minister will be happy to discuss that and other matters with him.
Andrew Rosen.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I wonder if the Prime Minister has had the chance to study the election results in Havering, with 0 Labour councillors elected in Romford, 0 Conservative councillors for the first time since 1964 across Havering, and the first Reform UK London borough, which shows people's disillusionment with the political establishment. But in his final days as Prime Minister, does he think he can do something for the people of Romford and give us the accident and emergency unit?
Well, the Greens picked up their 6th council in London as well this week, so of that reform tosser.
At Queen's Hospital, which the Honourable Member for Ilford North said he would deliver, but failed to do.
Mr. Speaker, we put record investment into the NHS.
Of course, yes, we continue to be without those cutaway shots towards the aforementioned member for Ilford North, having stepped down as Health Secretary. That is Keir Starmer's challenger, Shut Up Wesley Streeting.
Wimp! Pervert! Nubbend!
To clear up the mess that he and others left behind. I have studied the candidate for Makerfield, the Reform candidate, since he brings up election. A self-professed sexist, said women who get abortion do it for vanity purposes, encourage people not...
Oh, sorry, I've got buffering here. Give me a few seconds. Sorry about the brief interruption there.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and can I associate myself with the Prime Minister's comments on Henry Novak and...
Candidate for Makerfield, the Reform candidate, since he brings up election. A self-professed sexist, said women who get abortion do it for vanity purposes. Encourage...
Yeah, fix the problem. Where's Nob the Builder when you need him? Well, we don't need him, because we've got the quality IT team here at My Left Eye.
People not to get the COVID vaccine, and said Russia would within its rights to invade Crimea. Reform have got nothing to offer but grievance and division yet again.
Thank you, Mr Speaker, and can I associate myself with the Prime Minister's comments on Henry Novak and cause for calm over division? The Rugby League family lost a giant last week. John Keir, the former England, Wales and Challenge Cup winning coach, died suddenly on Sunday afternoon on his journey north after commentating on the Challenge Cup finals at Wembley the previous day. After playing for Castleford, his local team, he moved to teaching and coaching for a total of 700 matches with 9 clubs, including famous underdog Challenge Cup wins with Sheffield Eagles in 1998 and Hull FC in 2005. John loved his sport and was in love, and in turn was loved by the sport. Will the Prime Minister join me in paying tribute to John and sending condolences to his wife Dawn, family and friends?
Can I thank her for raising this and pay tribute to John? We're all deeply sad to hear of the passing. He was a remarkable athlete, coach, and an energetic and enthusiastic champion of his sport. He will be missed by supporters across the country. And I think my thoughts, all of our thoughts, are with his wife Dawn, his family and his...
The question was essentially, wasn't this guy great? It was just an obituary / planted setup question there. Yeah, so wasn't he really great? Will you join me in saying he was great? Yeah, sorry, I'm not speaking of the dead or anything there. That's just the way it is.
Friends at this sad time.
Sarah Green.
Mr Speaker, yesterday I spoke to women at an event here in Parliament whose children suffered avoidable harm after they continued taking the epilepsy drug sodium valproate during pregnancy. Doctors knew the risks, patients were not informed, and it's had devastating consequences. I'm sure the Prime Minister would agree that for a government department to commission a report looking at how to provide a redress scheme, it raised an expectation that one was on the horizon. To then not introduce it would be unbelievably cruel. So when will this government respond to the Hughes report and finally establish a redress scheme for these families?
Can I thank the honourable member? We absolutely recognise the harm and huge impact that pelvic mesh has had on so many lives. She will be aware that the Minister of Public Health has been a dedicated campaigner on this very issue. I want to see a full response to the recommendation of public...
Any shout-outs for who the twister dressed, well, make an assumption that it is a lady, but I think it is a lady, behind Keir Starmer is? Possibly Dawn Butler? Maybe? Any other shout-outs?
As quickly as possible, and I'll make sure the Minister keeps her updated of progress.
Ewan Steinbeck.
Mr Speaker, the 10-year bus payment...
See, you can't make it out from here, unless we did an ultra zoom and enhance. Might try and do one at the end.
Published by the Department for Transport shows that demand for zero-emission buses will double by the end of the decade. Despite this, in Scotland, jobs are being lost in our bus manufacturing sector because overseas manufacturers are winning a greater number of orders and now constitute the majority of new registration buses on our roads, despite an investigation into the cybersecurity of Chinese buses. Will the Prime Minister designate bus manufacturing as a sector critical to our national security?
My honourable friend is right to champion the brilliant, talented workforce building buses in Scotland. Our pipeline will give UK manufacturers the certainty and stability that they need to plan ahead and to be completely effective. And I can reassure him we're working closely with the industry to provide the response and the support.
Is this the deluded Labour doing well in Scotland answer?
That's necessary.
Bob Black.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. I welcome the Prime Minister's commitment to combat anti-Semitism. But the regular hate marches we've seen on our streets...
Sit down. Shut up. In fact, fuck off. And when you get there, you can fuck off some more.
Fuck off. Chanting of globalise the Intifada has led...
I'll sing it all day and night, motherfucker. Globalise the Intifada from the river to the sea.
...directly to attacks on Jewish businesses, on synagogues, on individuals in the street, and now an arson attack on where Jewish people live. So the Jewish people of our country now want to see action, not warm words. Will the Prime Minister therefore commit to the type of action that we need? To expel students, who commit anti-Semitic acts who are from overseas? Will he take action to prescribe the IRGC? Will he take action...
What? What?
To close down the 13 Iran-sponsored charities in this country that spread anti-Semitism? Will he also take action to ensure that all children are taught the horrors of the Holocaust, the importance of not expressing hatred towards one another, and the true
It's on a loop.
history
I'm just leaving it up there while he's on this,
State of
guys.
Israel? The Jewish people of this country want to feel safe on our streets and in their homes and in our country. So will the Prime Minister take the appropriate action?
That was the biggest load of crap I've ever heard.
Can I thank him for his question? And we are united in our belief that we must fight the poison of anti-Semitism wherever it is found. We are investing more to keep Jewish communities safe, more police patrols, greater security at schools and synagogues, and investing £7 million to tackle anti-Semitism within our universities, and bringing in prescription-like powers to clamp down on malign
And he's going for it as well. He's actually going for it. Of course he is. Of course he is. Because he's a Zionist without qualification, isn't he?
We will set out further steps in coming days, and I'll make sure he's fully informed of the steps that we're
Oh, they're anti-Zionist. They must be anti-Semitic. Oh.
I find that rather difficult to believe.
taking.
They're empathic.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, less than 48 hours ago, the family of Henry Novak stood on the...
If you put one of these people in a room and you offer them a large sum of money, even what to them would be a large sum of money relatively, and you have two whiteboards, and on one whiteboard you have a list of countries, and on the other you have a list of religions or faiths, and ask them to be able to differentiate between the two for a large sum of money. Yeah, it might be a little bit different, but of course, Israel is a country, it's a state, not a faith.
Steps of Southampton Crown Court and gave a courageous and dignified statement in which they said, "We want to use Henry's heartbreaking story to make change for the better. We do not want his death to create further division, hatred or tension. We want his story to help make our streets safer for everyone." Does the Prime Minister agree with me and my constituency neighbour in Southampton Test, Satvir Kaur, that the violence we saw whipped up on the streets of Southampton last night, the criminal damage to innocent people's homes, the injuries to 11 police officers, are the total opposite of what Henry's own family clearly and powerfully called for?
Can I thank him for his question and thank him for the discussion that we had this morning about the impact in Southampton, and thank him for the work that he has done along with his fellow MP and, if I may, the Honourable Member for Thurrock, who's been dealing with Henry's family for some time. The attacks directed towards police officers last night were disgraceful and completely unacceptable. There is no justification for further disorder.
Danny Chambers.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And the Conservatives promised us 40 new hospitals.
Well, you opened the door for the far right while you were busy trashing the left. You opened the door for Farage, and now look what's happened. You've got all of these yobbos out there at the whim of Farage and Yaxley, Tommy, 10 names, Lennon. The onus lies with you as well, Keith, in creating this situation. It has to be said.
Repeatedly that we knew were never going to happen. But the current government is now promising us a new hospital in Hampshire in 20 years' time if it gets built at all. Mr. Speaker, my constituents really rely on our A&E maternity services, but our current hospital has a huge repair backlog and it has rainwater leaking into clinical areas. Will the Prime Minister please break this cycle of governing parties promising us hypothetical hospitals and simply commit to fixing our actual hospital in Winchester?
Can I thank him for his question? I recall he raised this with me, I think, previously at Prime Minister's questions. As he knows, the reorganisation of services is a matter for local integrated care boards who take decisions based on the evidence and engagement with patients. Across the country, patients are benefiting from the £450 million.
Yeah, another good point there in the chat. Of course, Zionism in itself is anti-Semitic because how else can you describe literally appropriating an ancient religion and trying to use that to justify a genocide and illegal annexation and occupation of several countries currently, of course, Palestine and Lebanon, with others well within their sights. If that's not anti-Semitic, then what is?
Investment that we've provided to expand urgent and emergency care capacity. That's the improvements because of the investment we put in, but it is a matter for his local board.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Despite the efforts of dedicated teachers in Scarborough and Whitby, only 36% of pupils achieve grade 5 and above in both English and Maths GCSE. Does the Prime Minister agree with me that Mission Coastal has the potential to deliver the same transformational impact for young people in deprived coastal communities as the London Challenge achieved, and is the kind of bold and targeted intervention that only a Labour government can deliver?
Can I thank her for her work championing on such an important issue? Mission Coastal will help break the link between background and success, giving the most disadvantaged children mentoring, career support and enrichment opportunities, because we believe that no matter where you grow up, every child deserves the same opportunities to succeed.
Yeah. Tell me another one.
Victoria Collins.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This government...
Of course, sociologically speaking, how you get on in life overwhelmingly is determined by where you're born and into what class you're born into, more specifically.
Top-down housing targets, which are about to almost double in my constituency, mean communities like Redbourne and Tring are about to see huge-scale development while infrastructure is bursting at the seams. But while a supposedly affordable new build in my patch is more than £500,000. So no wonder Hannah, one of my sixth formers, says she can never dream of buying a new home and have to leave the place where she grew up. So will the Prime Minister urgently review these targets and come and speak to Hannah and our constituents, see how the targets, these top-down targets, are not delivering the affordable homes, the services we need, or protecting our precious land?
Prime Minister, please.
Look, we inherited...
Prime Minister, please, I'm down for a piss.
A housing crisis with people unable to have the security of their own home or even get onto the housing ladder. We are determined to change that. We have invested £39 billion to deliver more social and affordable homes, prioritising brownfield land. We must build more communities.
And they've not had a drink for about 45 minutes, so they'll be getting pretty itchy about now.
With strong infrastructure, but her party consistently votes against the planning reforms that will actually allow those homes to be built.
Final question, Calvin Bailey.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Yesterday, the Health Secretary confirmed that all eligible black men will be invited to the Transform trial. As chair of the Prostate Cancer APPG, I welcome this vital step towards screening for this terrible disease, for which black men have doubled risk for both diagnosis and death. Something which Reform have responded to with nothing but divisive weasel words and rage baiting.
I did actually hear a bit of an interview with what's-her-face from Reform, something Cunningham, I think is her name. But anyway, yeah, essentially trying to say that there's a sort of unjustifiable bias, and that implying, as she was, that white people can't get screening for certain cancers, the type of cancers that black people are 50% more likely to have. It was just absolutely ridiculous. But we're talking about reformplc.co.uk/recycle Tories here, aren't we?
Does the Prime Minister agree with me that our NHS was founded by Labour to be there for everyone equally, and when there is a proven higher risk, targeting support is equality.
Can I thank him for his work as chair of the Prostate Cancer APPG? This programme is England's first targeted cancer screening programme. We're also funding a major expansion of research and treatment backed by £20 million to help men at the highest risk. We are determined to improve cancer care, and more cancer patients are now being diagnosed on time thanks to Labour's decisions. But of course, there's more to do.
Let the front benches change over.
It's done, it's over, and it was an absolute trouncing 11-0 for Postman Swat and Deliver. There we go. Wow, session. That was, it's been a couple of weeks. Right. Well, let's just see the champion, of course. There he is. Okay, well, as for my thoughts, I want to be getting on to other things, so I guess I just made those clear, as always, as we were going through, but do appreciate what you've been putting in the chat as well, as we went through Keith's catchphrases. It's a quality item.
It's a quality item, ladies and gentlemen.
Very poor indeed, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, of course, the Southampton riots came up quite a bit in the session. I just want to reiterate what I said earlier, really. Don't want to see any more escalation. I think Farage certainly needs holding to account. The very poor actions of one police officer don't give the far right free licence to go out and commit violence in the fashion that they did. It's absolutely abhorrent to witness. We did take the liberty of putting together a bit of a video concerning this timeline of events, which we're just going to squeeze into a very, very short episode of Placard Power, which we haven't had on for a while. Again, another quality item.
Today, justice, in the eyes of the law, has been served. But justice alone is not enough. We want to use Henry's heartbreaking story to make change for the better. We do not want his death to be used to create further division, hatred, or tension. We want his story to make our streets safer for everyone.
A few moments later.
Henry's family have responded to this in just the most extraordinarily dignified way. But I suggest the rest of us respond to this with pure, cold rage.
3 hours later.
This is dreadful.
Are you a frustrated racist who's blindingly unaware of how wealthy grifters are pitting you against migrants and British-born citizens who aren't white? Do you want to pretend that you're a concerned citizen and that every legal asylum seeker is some kind of sex predator as a thinly veiled cover for your blatant far-right views?
Then do we have the campaign for you? Placard power. Grab a marker, grab some cardboard, attach it to a plank of wood, and bang. You're good to go. Spelling, don't worry about that.
Punctuation? Forget it. That's for woke tranny students. Here at Placard Power, we welcome the illiterate. Dictionaries? Do one. Checking on a computer or phone? No thanks.
However the words sound in your dumb fascist head, just write them down like that, and in no time at all, you'll be spreading your message to the masses. It's easy, it's simple. Isn't that right, Captain Placard?
You bet your bigoted arse it is. Placard Power. Join today.
Membership costs £79.99 per month. All transfers to be sent directly to Tommy Robinson, care of Benjamin Netanyahu, Tel Aviv, Israel.
Absolute scenes in Southampton, as you saw. I was going to go through some extended videos of what happened, but we do have to be getting on. That was quite a long PMQ's session as well. Let's see what we have. Probably a complete change of topic. Yes, we do. We'll be getting on with it.
On with it. Yes, get on with it. Get on with it.
Well, we have mentioned, of course, Palestine a little bit already. Let's get into a few more matters where that's concerned. There's a massive campaign underway to have the Ireland versus Israel match that's scheduled scrapped. There was a protest at another game of theirs recently, which I think pertains to that protest. Correct me if I'm wrong. But this was against Qatar, and the match had to be stopped after an absolute shitload of tennis balls were thrown onto the pitch. I don't know if you've seen this one. I did mean to bring it to you on a previous stream, but here it is, and this will lead us into some other Palestine-related business.
Now you can see a lot of tennis balls have been thrown onto the pitch. And this is in protest at the upcoming Ireland-Israel games. It's been a big talking point in the build-up to this game that will only intensify over the coming months. You may remember this did happen in 2019, the Ireland-Georgia match here at the Aviva Stadium, but that was in protest of what was happening at the FAI at that time. But some of the Irish fans here this evening making their feelings known about those Ireland-Israel games in the autumn. The stewards have cleared most or nearly all of the tennis balls off the pitch at this point.
Yeah, I've got to be honest.
They're making a racket about it, aren't they? A racket.
Wherever your view is on this particular issue, I'm not a fan of this, the game being held up in a situation like this. Actually, some of the Irish players are throwing the tennis balls off. A bit of an odd, eerie atmosphere in the stadium when it actually happened. As I said, hopefully we won't see it again. You have to respect people's right to voice their opinion. Absolutely. Just don't feel this is the right way from my point of view. Just keep the game moving. Plenty of other avenues to get those opinions across.
That footage comes from C4P, apparently. Shout out to them, Celebrities for Palestine. Well done, Ireland. excellent show of support as always, as you get from the Irish. And indeed, solidarity to all of our Irish viewers who are watching. Divinia, thanks for joining us on the stream. Catch you on the next one. Have a good night. Solidari-Tea. There was the Helen, speaking of celebrities, but unfortunately not a celebrity for Palestine, there was the Helen Mirren thing recently as well, of course. She was berated in the street. I think somebody, and I might be paraphrasing, but called her a Zionist bitch, or Zio bitch, one of the two. After she'd made some comments essentially saying that she didn't mind seeing Palestinians dragged out of their homes, because, look, at the birth of this new nation, such and such, it was really quite awful. So there's been a lot of kickback against Helen Mirren, who's in her 80s now, is she? Of course, very famous British actress. But another controversy, if you want to call it that, I certainly do, also call it an outright affront, was the banning of two pro-Palestinian speakers who were set to come to the UK. One of them, Cenk, who's particularly well known, of course, one of the faces of the Young Turks YouTube channel, which I'm sure all of you, or most of you, will have heard of already. He went on LBC recently to speak to Sheila Fogarty, who's about as much use as an ashtray on a motorbike, let's be honest. So he was on the show, of course, to protest the fact that he's been banned from entering the United Kingdom. Of course, he's not here to spread hate. There have been others on the far right who've been banned from coming to attend the Yaxley Lennon marches recently, but they have a proven track record, of course, of incitement and hate-inducing speech. Essentially, the banning is politicised because they don't want the truth to be heard from these voices. So let's hear from Cenk.
You've described Israel as barbaric and savage. You've claimed Israel uses Jews as human shields. Your critics claim that you're sitting dangerously close to the kind of language that is creating the kind of conspiratorial fever that's led to a huge amount of anti-Semitism on our streets. Now, we cannot lay all of that. We cannot lay all of that at your feet. Of course we can't. But do you ever question the language you use?
No, not at all. I question whether it should be tougher. I mean, we're all going to ask ourselves later, what did we do to stop a genocide? And so what people who are Zionists and fervent supporters of Israel do is they hide behind anti-Semitism, and they use anti-Semitism as a weaponized charge to defend the disgusting, immoral actions of a foreign government.
For what it's worth, and I speak to the British public every day for 3 hours, 5 days a week, nobody in this country thinks you can't criticise.
Some people listen to her for 3 hours a day. She's on for 3 hours. I mean, I'd never have LBC on in the background live. Very, 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 very rarely. Fortunately, via social media, you manage to get a lot more of the juicier bits, such as this one. But Sheila Fogarty does 3 hour shows and people actually listen. And here I am, being grateful, yet with a humble, approaching 6,000 subscribers on My Left Eye. I don't know what kind of rating Sheila Fogarty gets, but what a world. What a world. 3 hours? Wow.
criticise
No thanks.
Israel. I want to
Well,
ask
I just got banned for it.
Well, we'll see. We'll see exactly what the reasons were given, and then you may be right that has happened. But people.
But that is the reason they gave.
No,
they gave it to the press.
That's the government. I'm talking about the people of the country. Can I ask?
Oh, the people of the country are beautiful. They agree with me.
Well, not all of them do. But can I ask? Is that not the kind of inflammatory language that might have contributed to being banning? Because let me finish my question. More disgusting than the Holocaust, more disgusting than Cambodia.
In our lifetime.
That's the kind of inflammatory stuff that does get people fired up.
Okay, no. It's literally true. Why? How is that inflammatory? It's not inflammatory. It's comparative.
No, that's insane. So wait a minute, you want me to just give a pass to this foreign government?
No.
Then how? No. These are all tricks. These are all tricks to say, don't criticize this way, don't criticize that way. No, you're immoral if you're not deeply criticizing the Israeli government.
You've described Israel.
True. Excellent point. What times? What times? Of course, they've been one of the leading alternative media, Young Turks. That is, for some time now. And he does know his stuff where Israel's concerned. Like I'm sure a lot of you have in the past, been stunned by things that have been revealed by Young Turks. That they've had exclusive access to and things like that. What are you saying in the chat, people? Nice one. Throwing up the Palestine flags there. Yeah, Darren, I agree with that point as well. Of course, like other people, I could name a few other examples, but I won't, because we have to be getting on. Don't 100% agree with everything that Cenk says on the issue of Israel, on the issue of Palestine. Yeah, Young Turks, I think, is a really good outlet where that's concerned. He's been involved in some controversies recently, I think, because of his conduct during certain interviews or whatnot, but that's a whole another matter for a whole other time. Another good point as well, yeah. Israel should not be participating in any international sporting competition. We've seen those double standards, we've seen that duplicity, whatever you want to call it, as well, concerning European countries' stance on that compared to Russia, for example, who don't participate in the Olympics, the World Cup. Though, of course, recently, outside of the sporting realm, but within the so-called arts, Eurovision as well. And it's the same thing there. And of course, Israel isn't even in Europe, which is... all politics aside, let's get geographical on that one. Doc, you listen to R6 at Radio 6? Is that one? Let me know. Okay, next clip. Still sticking with matters of Palestine, but where protest is concerned. a bit of an update on the Filton case. And this sort of segues into a couple of plugs that I'm going to do now, of course. Mentioned on the last stream that there is going to be sentencing on the 12th. So there's going to be a massive show of support outside of court. And you can actually hear from someone who's from Pal Action who's served 18 months about this demo that's taking place in, what, a week and a half's time for anybody who's around.
Hi, my name is Maddie Norman and I spent 18 months in prison as one of the Filton 25.
Hi, I'm Alex and I'm one of the Filton 25 and I spent 15 months in prison without trial.
Hi, I'm T and equally I spent 15 months in prison as part of the Filton 25 case. 6 of my co-defendants went to trial in November 2025. The jury returned not guilty on aggravated burglary and eventually my co-defendants were found not guilty on violent disorder. The jury returned no convictions. This led to our release from prison, and in order to placate Israel and its foreign genocidal arms project Elbit Systems, the CPS announced a retrial. Judge Jeremy Johnson, the CPS and the entire political establishment, including Yvette Cooper, manipulated the judicial process in order to secure convictions.
4 were convicted of criminal damage, which under normal circumstances would have resulted in a time-served sentence. Instead, the 4 were remanded into prison, even though the prosecution did not ask for this, under the judge's instructions. On June 12th, they will be sentenced, potentially for the first time in UK history, as terrorists. This was not something that the jury knew about. They had no idea that when convicting these 4, that they could potentially be sentenced as terrorists, which carries a much greater sentences than for criminal damage.
Just 3 days after the sentencing of our co-defendants, we will be standing trial at the Old Bailey. All of the Filton 25 are facing the same charges under joint enterprise. Almost 2 years on, and after spending 18 months in prison, we will finally have our opportunity to expose Elbit's war crimes in the Gaza genocide.
On June 12th, we need everyone to turn up at Woolwich Crown Court at 10 a.m. till 5 p.m. and show the state that we will not stand for this. Direct action is not terrorism, not now and not ever.
Hi, my name
So that's on June the 12th, Woolwich Crown Court. And you can check out information online. There are going to be multiple organisations there, of course. We were there ourselves. Well, I was there at Woolwich Crown Court. That is recently observing one of the silent vigils with supporters from Defend Our Juries, who I'm involved with. I wasn't one of the sitters on this occasion. Regular viewers will know that we've been following the DOJ protests for quite a while now. And yes, all of the members of the silent vigil were arrested that day, just for holding up placards. You can check out the stream from, what would it be? About 5 weeks ago? Yeah, if you want to see the footage of that. There's also a separate video, and I'm trying to go into a great segue here now. A separate video of the Take Back Power action phase, which took place around the same time as the Woolwich Crown Court Defend Our Juries vigil. I'm also a supporter of Take Back Power, as I am, or I should say was, with the orange vests now being hung up, but of course a supporter of JSO, and there's a film actually coming out about our exploits in London during the 6-week action phase, which I participated in most of. Not the film, the action phase. I've not seen any of it, if I'm being perfectly honest, but it is directed by someone who I highly recommend you check out. His previous work, Finite, the award-winning Finite, I should say, is definitely worth a look. I'm talking about Richard Felgate, who's was part of JSO's media team as well. Had the privilege, well, he's actually filmed actions I've taken part in. I've been alongside him filming other actions on quite a few occasions as well. He's a really top guy, and he's put together a film called We the Hated. Now, this is premiering at the Sheffield Documentary Festival, so do check out some of these dates if you are in the area or if you can get there. But they are selling out fast, as you can see. One of the dates has already sold out, so it's having a double premiere in 2 separate locations at 7 o'clock PM. That is on the 10th of June at the Lyceum Theatre and the Showroom Cinema, respectively. Excuse me. The following date at the Curzon is the sold out one, unfortunately, and there's one more, a morning showing at the Light on the 14th. So you can go to chefdocfest.com. Yeah, that's right, chefdocfest.com. So it's documentary and then doc and dot. chefdocfest.com. Try saying that after 9 pints. I've not had 9 pints. You know what I mean. So do check that out. I'm going to be checking out one of those dates myself. Well, at least one of them. I'm still going to see if we can perhaps get an exclusive chat with director Richard Felgate himself. Yeah, and just once again, I want to give a bit of a plug for his previous work. Finite, The Climate of Change is the full title of that one. It parallels 2 stories between communities, one in Germany, one here in the northeast of England, and their fight against fossil fuel expansion. It's an overall look as well at the effects of coal industry, coal being the dirtiest, most pollutant of the fossil fuels, of course. Yeah, and I'm really looking forward to seeing that one, to be honest, because that goes back to October and the beginning of November. The whole of October pretty much, and the beginning of November 2022. It's going to be a bit of a trip down memory lane as well, pretty emotional. And lest I get distracted, let's get into a comedy clip. Let's just raise our spirits a bit. It's another one from the Rants parodies, but it's the most recent one. Anyway, it's a good one. Although I've actually not seen it all of the way through. So once again, there's a link in the description. If you want to go and subscribe, do recommend it. Top channel.
verdammte Schisserei!
Mein Führer, darf ich Ihnen zum Geburtstag gratulieren?
Wenn er sich ohne Befehl entfernt hat, ist das Fahnenflucht! Verrat!
Mein Führer, wir haben noch keine Meldung. Ich spreche dort mit Koller.
Koller, geben Sie mir Koller. Koller. Sie wissen, dass Berlin unter Artilleriefeuer liegt.
I'm right now at 99% in Israel. I could run for prime minister, so maybe after I do this, I'll go to Israel, run for prime minister. I had a poll this morning. I'm 99%, so that's good.
Hören Sie den Beschuss nicht?
I don't care about the midterms.
Die Russen sollen eine Eisenbahnbrücke über die Oder haben.
If we had Jesus Christ come down and count the votes, I would have won California.
Das sind ja nur 12 Kilometer bis zum Stadtkern. Ist der Russe schon so nah?
And I'm going to be here in 28, and maybe I'll be here in 32 too. I don't know. Maybe I will.
Haben Sie noch Zweifel an meinem Befehl? Ich glaube! Aber alle diese Verräter werden bezahlen.
When I get out of office in, let's say, 8 or 9 years from now,
Ich habe mich klar genug ausgedrückt! Ich war nie auf einer Akademie.
the Lincoln Memorial, it was built, I guess, a little after the Lincoln Memorial. It's embarrassing. It was so horrible. I never saw anything like it. It was filthy dirty. It was Biden.
Und doch habe ich allein auf mich gestellt.
Very long lake, we call it, the reflecting lake, between the Lincoln Monument. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. You take a look at... Between Lincoln and Washington, you have the longest, like 2,400 feet long. That's longer than the tallest building in the world if you set it on its side.
Wenn er sich ohne Befehl entfernt hat, ist das Fahnenflucht.
Yeah, Burj Khalifa's 2,717 feet.
Verrat!
I don't mind being called a brilliant, total tyrant dictator, but I don't want to be called dumb.
No, people do call you dumb. They don't call you a brilliant dictator.
What do I do, doctor? Is there some kind of a test I can take?
Nur um zu lernen, wie man besser Gabel hält.
It's a cognitive test. I said, how many presidents have taken it? None. You know the story. No people have taken it. I said, well...
None.
Is it good or bad?
Because we've had, they've had George W. Bush. But none. They've had Reagan. But no, they've had none quite so low as this guy that they had to take a cognitive test. And obviously you have to exclude all of the presidents who were in office before the test itself was invented. I'll give you. But yeah, that says a lot about Trump.
Tough. It's a tough test. It starts off easy. It gets very, very tough. I said, well, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take that test, I think, doctor.
Jeder hat mich belogen, sogar die SS.
So the first question was...
And he's had to do this like 4 times now, where he thinks that we should worship him because he has the cognitive ability to identify basic animal shapes.
A snake, an elephant, and a horse. Name the horse. That's the horse.
Widerstand in den Weg gelegt. Ich hätte gut daran getan.
So the New York Times does a story to show the test that I just aced, and they only used the first question. They didn't go into the other questions. They didn't go in. But toward the end, like they had a question like, pick a number, sir, any number. Okay, 203. Multiply times 9. Divide by 2. Add on 1,324. Subtract 1,292. Sir, multiply it out one more time by 19.
No, they didn't.
What is the answer?
No, they didn't. They didn't do that. No, they didn't. You're just picking random numbers.
Yes, sir. And I got it right.
Hat die Korruption in unserem Staat möglich gemacht.
You'll never hear me call myself I'm the smartest guy you're ever gonna meet.
Es wurde ein ungeheurer Verrat geübt am deutschen Volke. Was soll das heißen? Sie können...
Then do IQ tests not? We really have to check that you aren't cognitively incompetent. That's the opposite of an IQ test.
The World Cup is great. It's the most successful they've ever had, ticket-wise. It's They've never had anything that sold so quickly. It's amazing because it's the United States.
Kommende Generation dankbar sein. Ich übernehme für alles die volle Verantwortung.
I call it soccer. You know, it's just easier to do because we have football and they have 2 footballs, right? They call it football.
Fremder, unberechenbarer Künstler. All die anderen, ja. Was hat das gemacht?
Drug traffic coming into our country is way down, and by sea. By ocean, by the water. You know, a lot of people say, "What do you mean by sea? Is it sea like vision?" No, it's the SEA.
It's like flour, like the ones that grow the ground, not the ones that you make food with.
We have drugs down 400, 500, 600%. Now you could say 80, 90, 70, 60, 50% of you.
You could say any number you like.
Want. There are 2 ways. Depends on the way you ask the question. You take the E out. You don't use the B. A lot of people don't know dumb has a B in it, actually.
I've not seen that one before. A lot of people don't know that dumb has a B in it. Oh, fucking hell.
You don't need it.
Oh, God, fucking hell. Does he just stop every person? Hey, did you know that the word dumb has a B in it? Yes, Mr. President. No, you didn't know that. Actually, no, I didn't know that, Mr. President. Damn right you didn't.
You discard the B.
Mit ihrem eigenen Blut werden sie bezahlen.
Don't you want to have a smart person as president?
Yes.
Die ganze Luftwaffenführung sofort aufhängen.
And I know a lot about flagpoles, and that's the best flagpole there is, okay? So congratulations.
I know a lot about flagpoles.
Das ist unerhört. Der Russe steckt 12 Kilometer von Stadtkern. Und ich erfahre das sozusagen auf Nachfrage.
Mein Führer, vielleicht handelt es sich ja wirklich um Fernfeuer. Sie erwähnten eine Eisenbahnbrücke über die Oder.
Ach, Unsinn!
Link in the description. Go and subscribe. That was a good one. I enjoyed that one. If I have heard that one before, then I must have forgotten about it. I don't know. I do have one added bit of trivia though, if you'd care for it. Did you know that the reason that Americans drop the letter U, for example, from words like colour and other vowels, it actually comes from telegrams? Of course, you used to have to paper letter. They would drop certain letters to still be able to get the message across, misspelling them. Save some money, but then it sort of stuck. And that's why it happened. It did used to spell things the same way as us. Bit of a history factoid there on the Brews at 10. Quality. Right, speaking of quality, here's the roster of Marvellous members again. Thank you very much for the gifted memberships on this evening's stream. But most generous of you as well as the super chats. I really do appreciate the support wherever it comes from. A quick reminder, please do press supported buttons, thumbs up on this stream, hit thumbs up while watching on a mobile device, and you'll be prompted to give some hype points. We'd really appreciate if you did that on some of our video content at the moment. Don't like to gripe and complain, Some of the videos have been lagging a little bit. So could really use a boost, could really use your support, people. I don't want to throw the term like shadow banned or whatever around. Like other YouTubers who might gripe more than me might do. But I don't know what's going on. It's kind of hit and miss. Anyway, thank you very much once again, members. Hit the join button if you want to find out more about the perks, and it's just 99p. Want to join the channel. Stick around, Brew Crew. I'm going to set up a raid. But I think we will be back tomorrow. In fact, thinking, well, there's a good chance. Hit the notification button so you don't miss out. But there is a chance that I might be doing QT, with it being sort of a Makerfield by-election special on the panel. That is Andy Burnham, Sarah Wakefield, yeah, so keep an eye out for that. Sorry, I was just setting up the raid there. I think we're going into this space. Yeah. Do join me over there. Thank you very much for all of your contributions in the chat. You've been wonderful this evening, as always. Sorry I was fading a bit towards the end. It's been a very long day. Yeah, that's just about it though. This has been the Brews at 10 on My Left Eye. I've been your humble host, Lefty. Power to the people. Free Palestine, Lebanon, Sudan and Yemen. Don't let the bastards grind you down. Don't watch the news. Be the news. And My Left Eye will be seeing you soon. A very good evening to you all. Solidari-Tea.
$300k I will take you to Sky. If Black Old Walsh doesn't want to stay in a Trust House 40, we'll stick her in a youth hostel, see if she likes that.
The door is open and you can leave.
It's what Hitler and Goering did, and it is textbook. And if you think the next time it happens, we're gonna recognize it because they're wearing scary uniforms, you're out of your damn mind.